Māori land confiscations and the restoration process. After the Treaty of Waitangi was signed in 1840, Māori land ownership steadily diminished. Some Pākehā settlers, whalers and businessmen married a Māori woman, arranged with local chiefs to set land aside for their families. Land was also made available for cutting timber and building wharves and jetties. Some Māori chiefs allowed Europeans to settle on a piece of their land in exchange for goods such as building materials, fencing wire, cigars, brandy and suits. However, Māori did not see these exchanges as sales of land that gave buyers full ownership. They saw it as a transfer of rights to the settlers, who still had to respect Māori rights to the land. Between 1840 and 1965, only the Crown could end Māori rights to their land. Private individuals could not buy land directly from Māori, as written in the Treaty of Waitangi. Some thought this rule was unfair, as it meant the government could buy land cheaply from Māori and then sell it on to settlers at a higher price. However, the government believed this rule was supposed to protect Māori from private European buyers. During this time, missionary organisations entered land deals with Māori. Many acres of land were set aside for the missionaries, on which schools and churches were built. It was not considered a sale but a gift, where if the purpose of the land changed, it must be given back. This worked well for a short time. After Pōtatau Te Wherowhero became the first Māori king in 1858, the government became aware of the growing resistance from Māori. The government worried Māori would refuse further land sales or recognise their power. As a result, a series of wars were waged in the 1860s. The sides were far from equal. Around 4,000 Māori warriors battled 18,000 British soldiers, including some Māori who fought on behalf of the British Crown. During the Taranaki and Waikato Wars, over 1,800 Māori and 800 British soldiers were killed. Although Māori were outnumbered and had fewer weapons, they used warfare tactics, bunkers and carefully placed fortified villages to protect their land and people. On the 5th of May 1863, the government decided that Māori in a state of rebellion must have their land confiscated as punishment. Land was confiscated from iwi who had fought for and against the government. Military settlers were to be placed on the confiscated land in the North Island. Missionaries were pressured into giving up their gifted land to the government. For example, 540 hectares in central Tauranga belonged to Ngāti Tāpu. However, 80% of the land was given to the government, with the church keeping the rest. The church then sold that land a few years later. As a result, the iwi lost mana and wealth. It was not until 2018 that the Anglican Church formally apologised to Ngāti Tāpu. Some confiscated land was given back, although not always to its original owners. Some returned areas were then bought back by the government. In 1862, Māori became free to sell land to private buyers after land ownership had been investigated. One difficulty in selling land was that Māori owned land in groups, not as individuals. Between 1865 and 1873, the law stated a maximum of 10 people could be owners of a piece of land. After 1873, allowing unlimited owners made it more difficult to keep track of ownership. This is because land titles were passed down to children and grandchildren over the years. In 1975, the Waitangi Tribunal was established to investigate complaints regarding the treaty. However, they were not allowed to look at past errors. That same year, Māori protested in several ways. A hikoi land march was led by Dame Whina Cooper, where approximately 5,000 people walked from the far north to Wellington. They presented Parliament with a petition of 60,000 signatures protesting the continuing loss of Māori land. Māori also began occupying land, such as Bastion Point in 1977, for 506 days to protest a potential Crown sale. In 1985, the tribunal began looking at all complaints dating back to 1840. The treaty settlement process is designed to restore mana and acknowledge the iwi's history as being vital to the region's history. Many Māori find the process healing because they feel their voices are finally being heard by the government. Settlements have led to many other positive outcomes, including educational scholarships, homes for the elderly, and marae restoration.